Scream became a cult movie for the teenage audience, a market neglected by credible and quality horror filmmakers. Wes Craven has got at least one explanation for the success of the film.
It deals with things that kids in all of their frankness and kind of exuberance can identify with immediately. There's a lot less sublimation in these kind of films. You talk about things quite frankly. They tend to be raucous in body and very forthright with what they're talking about. And they talk about the forbidden. You talk about sex and violence and what you do when your parents aren't looking.
No, I wouldn't dream of breaking your underwear rule. I just thought maybe we could do a little on top of the clothes stuff.
Okay.
Yeah?
Kids are in a very, very volatile passage. There really are films about rites of passage from childhood to adulthood, where your parents are suddenly not there for you, and you have to kind of make your own way in a life and death sort of way. And you're making decisions about sex and about if somebody attacks you, and if who's telling the truth and who's not, and what do you do when the authorities can no longer either help you or are working against you. That sort of thing are all keen issues for young people.
What's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
It's really about how youth today are desensitized to violence and how the media and how television and how film affects that, and affects our view on violence and sort of causes us to be numb to it.
Wes Craven was sitting in the lobby of Miramax, and I recognized, as soon as I got off the elevator, I was like, that's Wes Craven, that's Wes Craven. And I had someone come up and they said, Wes, Kevin, Wes. And he went, Kevin Williamson? I said, yeah. He goes, I read your script. It was really scary. And I thought, I can lay down and die.
Well, it was funny because, my name's even mentioned.
The killer's still out there. Don't go there, Sam. You're starting to sound like some Wes Carpenter flick or something.
Scream changed my life.
Certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a scary movie. For instance, number 1, you can never have sex. No! Even in public.
I met some of my best friends in the world in terms of working experience to work with a lot of young people.
Number 2, you can never drink or do drugs.
I'm so proud to be a part of it, and it's a legacy now, and it's always cool to be part of the legacy.
And number 3, never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say
And the best movie is...
Each year in the United States, when you watch the Academy Awards, you, as a genre filmmaker, the one thing you notice is that there is no representation of genre films in it whatsoever. It's wonderful to have an award that is from the audience, because the audience is out there, but the establishment just does not recognize them.
I'd like to thank everybody of the MTV generation who finally gave some recognition to the kind of films that we all like to go see, really.
You're absolutely right. It is not fair. Fairness would be to rip your insides out, hang you from a tree so we can expose you for the heartless, desensitized little that you are.
It's been a great boon to my career, so it's been wonderful, and we still look at each other all and just sort of saying, oh my God, this is amazing.
911.
What's going on?
Neve Campbell began life wanting to be a dancer, but
Remember me?
What do you want?
It's time, girlfriend. Don't you know history repeats itself?
leading the way once again in Scream 2 is Neve Campbell's heroic Sidney Prescott, who is now reliving her worst nightmare.
It's very interesting, actually, when you're playing a lead in a film, because like within the first film, you know, a lot of the humor comes from the other characters surrounding her, and you have a bit. I had a bit of insecurity about, well, am I funny enough, or are people going to notice? But the truth is that people are seeing it through my eyes. They're seeing the entire story through my eyes, and that's got its own strength to it.
Last night, 2 college students were brutally murdered.
Police are everywhere.
The girl was stabbed 7 times.
Ouch!
Did you know the victim?
I'm threatened by the murder. What am I supposed to do?
If there is some freaked out psycho, they're probably already in your life.
who is after her this time? Well, potential suspects include newcomers Rebecca Gayheart and Jada Pinkett, and her college boyfriend played by Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry's a sweetheart. I mean, Skeet was a sweetheart too. They're both great. They're both extremely professional, and Jerry's a lot of fun. I've actually known Jerry a long time. I met him, I was girl number one, had one line on his television series in Toronto called My Secret Identity. It was one of my first jobs ever. It was like in a locker room or something. I don't even remember my line, but it's kind of ironic we're here now.
The first film's family atmosphere made cast members eager for a sequel, and the new faces were welcomed on board the set with open arms.
I think it really was just a great charisma amongst the cast, you know, a very eclectic crowd and a lot of fun and a lot of sense of humor and a great script, and we just had a really good time. We were shooting out in Santa Rosa last time, and when you're on location you have time to bond, and it's been similar in this one because we shot the first couple of weeks in Atlanta, which I think was really good because we were able to develop a relationship with the new cast, and we're having a really good time.
And so, with a blossoming film career underway, courtesy of her lead roles in Scream 2 and its predecessor, and her continued commitment to the popular teenage drama Party of Five, the television series that set her on the road to fame and fortune, what does the future hold for Miss Campbell?
It's a love-hate relationship. I love being on the show. I love my cast, but I'm also getting a lot of offers for films and would really like to be doing other things now. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of difficult to say that I'd like to leave the show because I do love them a lot and I do believe in the show a lot. But on the other hand, my career is expanding.
David Arquette belongs
mediocre, right? He's got a cold storage shed where our heart should be. No offense intended.
He's a little more serious. He's a little more angry.
How do you know that my dim-witted inexperience isn't merely a subtle form of manipulation used to lower people's expectations, thereby enhancing my ability to effectively maneuver within any given situation?
He's there to give Courtney Cox's character a piece of his mind.
I have some oozing to do. One more thing. Nice streaks.
It's not to be taken seriously. It's to have a hoot at, you know, everyone go and just sort of scream at the screen. In this one, there was a lot of secretism as far as they didn't give us the last 30 pages.
So it's our job to observe the rules of the sequel. Number one, the body count is always bigger. Number two, the death scenes are always much more elaborate. More blood, more gore. Carnage, candy.
At certain parts, you do get scared, you know. He does set up sort of sometimes obstacles. You'll think someone's going to come out here and they come out there. So there's an element of surprise involved. I think it leaves it a little bit open for sort of that glint of suspicion in everyone's eyes.
How do we find the killer, Randy? That's what I want to know.
Well, let's look at the suspects.
I was always hoping for me.
Hello?
Hello, Sydney. Remember me?
What do you want?
It's time, girlfriend.
And it still might be. You never know.
Another string to David's bow is making music. He features on the film's soundtrack with his band Year 2000.
Sort of a silly song. It was something we sort of pumped out just to get it on there. And Wes was really great to put it on. And it's interesting. We shot a video to it. Have fun with it. We're almost done with the album right now. It should be done by the new year.
D'Angelo also features with a cover version of Prince's She's Always in My Head.
I love the song, you know, I've always loved the song, and it matches, you know, aside from the movie and everything, it really has some personal things in it that really that hits home with me.
A bunch of really good music, so it's sort of, you know, MTV crowd.
Well, that's it for part one, but don't go away, because in part two we meet director Wes Craven, get the inside story from Courtney Cox, who plays reporter Gail Weathers, and party at the Scream 2 premiere in London and New York. For just $350, Courtney Cox made an unusual entrance into the world of fame when in 1984 she was hired to be whisked up on stage to partner rock icon Bruce Springsteen in his Dancing in the Dark video. That role helped launch a career that landed her the part of Monica Geller in the hugely successful American sitcom Friends.
Oh, that is amazing!
Isn't it cool?
Cool. Yes, that's huge.
Making her one of the most popular and recognizable TV faces of her generation.
I think that being on a television show, you're in someone's home every week, and soon to be in America every day, because it's just about to go into syndication. And I think that you do feel like you know them, and especially a show like Friends, where you can relate to everybody.
Relax every muscle in your body.
In Scream 2 and its predecessor, Cox plays a tabloid journalist turned author.
Hi, Gail Weathers, author of the Woodsboro Murders.
Who comes to town to report on the carnage and ends up being embroiled in the hunt for the killer.
It's just a really fun character to play.
She's an opportunist.
She'll say anything, she'll do anything, and it's all for her.
Be kind, she saved our lives.
Yeah, I know. I read all about it in the books.
She does have a heart in this one. She had one in the last one, but this one becomes, all the killings become a little too close to home, so she has to kind of realize it's not just all about her.
I can't wait to see the movie.
It's her world, literally.
Why would you want to be here when the killer strikes again? I mean, granted, I should have read your book before I took this job, but I'm reading it now, and woo, I read what happened to your last cameraman. The guy got gutted. Now, what any rational human being would do, which is get the fuck out of here.
First of all, he wasn't gutted. I made that up. His throat was slashed.
Ghetto, gutted, slashed, the guy ain't in the union no more.
Now she's a bitch with money.
This is national television. Think about it. This is a big chance for you. The story is monumental. Don't you want to be a part of that?
She doesn't explain herself to anybody. She just does what she wants to do.
Come on. Let's get some work done.
Yeah, let's go get killed.
It's a fun character to play. It's so different from Monica, too.